Folks, I've got a pleasure to actually get access to this very busy man. He came to my notice a few, I'd say, about during COVID, when he started doing participation with 8-bit big band. And I was also following him with postmodern jukebox, but it was mostly with the big band that I actually got a chance to actually hear him sing and play two songs from Portal 1 and 2. Portal 1 was Still Alive, and Portal 2 was I Want You Gone. And the format that he sang was a la Frank Sinatra, for the lack of a better description. Now, Benny, you're younger than I am. I hate to say it, but you're younger. You're 33, and I'm going on 50 next year. So you started off at the age of 5 on piano, and then at the age of 9, you were introduced to trumpet by your parents. And you've got the reason why you're Benny, and I apologize because I've been racking my brain on how to say the last name. Is it Benack?
You know, everybody, there's a few different interpretations. Where I come from, we say Benack. Some people say Benack. Some people say Benack. I always say Benack.
Benack, okay. And you're the third because your grandfather was Benny Benack, or Benack. Your
Right.
father was Benny Pete Benack the second, and you're Benny Benack the third, or Ben Benack, as you like to be called sometimes.
Sure, that's it. Yeah.
The family that you belong to, your father did two theme songs for two, I think it was sports teams, if I'm not mistaken. Your mother,
for the Pittsburgh Pirates, our baseball team in my hometown. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's your mother, who's a teacher at the Carnegie Mellon University in music. You are a heavy accoladed man, because the research that I managed to garner this year, as of August 2023, I don't remember the date exactly, you were nominated as the number 2 male vocalist and an up-and-coming trumpet star as well, which is not something that happens often based on what they were saying. You also studied very hard, or were very proficient with your musical writings, musical interpretation, singing. Trumpet is your main focal instrument, and you earned yourself a full scholarship to go to forgot the name of the university.
Manhattan School of Music.
Thank you. You were born in Pittsburgh. Are you still staying in Pittsburgh? I'm assuming yes.
I live in New York City, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm actually going to head home a little bit after Christmas. My family's still back there, so.
Okay. Right now we're lucky because, folks, he did a tour of Europe before coming back to New York, and he has a few things that were happening during earlier in December, and he's going on the cruise, the jazz cruise, in January. So we tried various iterations of dates. Unfortunately for Benny, and this is not a denigration of any means, but his lifestyle has him operating in midday. If he manages to sleep, if he manages to sleep in, because his gigs are all in the evening, and unfortunately 7 p.m. my time is 6, which is why we're doing this right now. But trying to do it in the morning, he would have been half dead or angry.
Yeah.
So Benny, I've been listening to your albums today nonstop, and I enjoyed the big band versions of the Christmas tunes. And the newest one that you actually released, which is probably why you're touring, I can't remember what the name is. I'll try to grab it here. It is Third Time's a Charm, or The Charm, I should say.
Yeah.
So tell me, when did you actually do this album? Because you've been releasing singles here and there, and you had an album in 2021, which was the Christmas version. So when did you actually get the time to compose and create and do everything for that album?
Yeah, we recorded it last spring of last year, and then by the fall started with the first single, and then did more singles starting the beginning of this year, about
Okay.
once every 6 weeks, so that the record itself came out in June. And I've just been really touring the music from the record pretty much all year since it came out in June.
So I'm assuming that you recorded in studio with live, doing it live. Did you do multi takes or did you do digital transfers?
Yeah, we were in one studio in Manhattan, and did it in one day. And there's a lot of tracks on there. 14 songs is a lot for one album. It was a long day, but we kind of got into a groove, and we're just kind of knocking out tunes. We would really do one or two takes of every tune, and you go back after, you have a day where you do some mixing and you get the balance right, and you might fix a couple things here and there, but you really try to do as much of a natural acoustic performance for jazz. It's not like pop music where you take a really long time for producing and you might go over the mix for months and months. You really try and just capture that live feeling.
Yeah, the dynamics are amazing when it comes to doing it live versus doing it digital, which is a plus because you get to interact in synchronicity up to a certain degree with the other people that are participating in the album. It's all a catalyst of immense degrees. But I'm glad that you actually made this album. It's actually stupendous. Like
Oh, thank you.
I've been before seeing and hearing the album. I was stuck on just listening you singing "Still Alive" and "What You Gone" from Portal, because the performance was actually quite fun. You were in a small ensemble in a very tight room, and they allowed you a space to actually do your thing.
Yeah.
Now, for the album right now, are you touring? I'm assuming that you're touring with certain members of the troupe.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. Sometimes I get a chance to play with some of the people that played on the record, but like in the case of the pianist Emmett Cohen, he's really busy himself as a band leader and touring a lot. So you get as many of the original people as you can from the album, and then you have plenty of other great people that do gigs. And after the jazz cruise, from the end of January, all of February, all of March, I'm going to be on tour with Bria Skonberg, who plays trumpet and sings on "In a Mellow Tone," one of the songs from the new album. So we'll be touring together, and that's going to be fun.
Oh, nice. Is it the touring? Is it going to be in the U.S.? I'm assuming yes.
Yeah, North America. So mostly the US and some gigs in Canada as well.
Okay, probably Montreal or Toronto.
Yeah, both, I think.
Okay.
And
Uh,
plan to I'll be in Japan after New Year's for a Frank Sinatra show, and then try and get to Europe again maybe in the springtime.
See, folks, I told you he's a busy man.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you cope with all this touring though? You're young, which is a plus, but is it stressful? Is it something that you have a hard time getting a hold or control of, or are you just chill with the vibe of doing the tours?
Well, it's definitely it's a lifestyle you got to kind of acclimate yourself to. And I always say, if I wasn't good at sleeping on planes and trains and automobiles, I'd be in trouble, because I do a lot of sleeping on transit. But that's sort of the old adage of, if you're a musician, if you're an artist performer, you don't get paid for the performance. That's the fun part. You get paid for busting your butt to get there. So if I gotta
Mm.
take two connections to go from Paris to Buenos Aires and then do a concert the day I get there, and I feel like I got hit by a truck, that's what I'm getting paid for. That's the real difficult part. Once you get on stage, you're just having fun.
Which is the fun part. Travel apparently seems to be the better known demon of a lot of musicians that have to do tours.
Yeah.
And some have it down pat, some learn as they go along, or some just don't particularly care and they just do it. So
Right.
it's each his own. I think is what they told me.
Pretty
Now,
much. Yeah.
with the fact that you do trumpet, any other musical stylings that you decided to try since you've been doing, well, mostly composing original songs for the new album? Your singing voice is marvelous, and the
Thank you.
trumpet has been getting better and better every time I've been actually hearing it. So, have you tried to actually go into something else? I know that you started off in piano, so you probably used that at one point or another for your own sake on composing. But anything else that you're currently dabbling, experimenting on?
Yeah. Well, you're right. Piano is a big part, and I compose at the piano and still, play a good bit of piano.
Mhm.
And on top of that, I think one year for Christmas I might have messed around with trying to learn the saxophone. But for people that play instruments like that, if you play too much saxophone, it ends up messing up your lip for the way you play trumpet, and vice versa. So if I get too serious about, I want to practice my saxophone all day long, and then I have to play trumpet that night, I feel like my lips are they're going goofy on me. So
Oh,
as far as that goes, I really try and just keep it to the trumpet. But I have to say, I guess if I could teach myself another instrument, it would probably be the bass, actually, because I just love the sound of the upright bass. And when I play piano or the organ, sometimes I'll use my left hand to simulate a walking bass line from an upright bass. So I
yeah.
think in another life, maybe I was a bass player back there, just playing all those quarter notes.
We should get you together with Angelique Francis here in Canada. She's a
Oh
blues.
man, I would love that.
Oh yeah, she's a blues upright standing bass player,
Yeah,
and she's been nominated, and I think she won.
super cool.
A lot of competition when it comes to blues here in Canada.
Nice.
But you're more on the jazz side. I do know that
Yeah,
you tend to do what musicians like to say, which is the light blues.
yeah.
There's one song on one of your albums that was oh, Born Child Blues.
Oh yeah, newborn blues. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, we did
Was
a
that
blues on there.
yeah? Now was that your composition, or was it
Yeah,
somebody
that's an
else's?
original. It's an original tune, and it's actually a play on words because I wrote it thinking of the great jazz pianist who has a crazy name, Phineas Newborn Jr. So his last name's Newborn, which is why I called it the Newborn Blues.
Nice one. I like it.
There you
Um,
have it.
Now, with everything that you're currently doing as a human being, you're more than just a musician. You're more than just a composer. You're Ben to many, a
Right.
friend, family. As a person, do you even have time to have hobbies? And by that I
Oh
mean
yeah. I mean,
uh, outside of playing your musical instruments and dabbling and whatnot. But do you do anything that would allow you to kind of step away from the artist's easel, so to speak?
right. Well, a byproduct of all that traveling is that I always have some TV shows and some movies loaded up on my iPad. So I'm voracious when it comes to, all the streaming great TV shows and movies out there. I like Marvel. I see every Marvel movie. I love sports. Growing up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's a big sports town. So I love
Mm.
following the sports teams. And I like working out and playing sports. And, of course, I'm getting older here. 33 is not 23. So if I go out and run around and play basketball with a bunch of young guys the next day, I feel it. So, I'm dialing it back. I got to switch to
Okay.
pickleball maybe. There it
So
is. Okay.
now mentioning the shows that you watch, that you load, that you actually consume voraciously, you also participated in certain shows on TV. You were the house band for Stephen Colbert, if I'm not mistaken, for at
Yeah,
least
that's right.
a few seasons. And you also, let me see, you played on the NBC's variety show Maya and Marty
That's true.
with Maya Rudolph, Martin Short, and Keenan Thompson. And you also you were a special guest on musical segments with Jimmy Fallon, Steve Martin, and Nick Jonas. Which Steve Martin must have been fun because he plays the banjo. For those that don't know, he's gotten into that quite a while ago, and he's actually captured Grammys with Black Crow, which was one of his banjo albums.
Yeah, he
So
jammed with us when we did the show. He was really down to earth. Cool guy.
he is. Now, I really don't have any other questions. Currently, a weird question. I'm assuming you're a single man. Otherwise,
Very
you
much
wouldn't
so.
be.
Very much so. That's that travel life. It's hard to date, you know?
Well, it's hard to keep your partner happy when you're kind of always out and about.
Yeah,
So
it's all about priorities, you know, and your lifestyle, and you got to find somebody that can kind of support you. And you know, I know she's out there one of these days.
more than likely, I just say sincerely don't doubt it. Now, the last question I have, because there's nothing else that I can say about this, your talent, your new
Oh,
album, which
thank you,
I
my friend.
congratulate you on. The question is off the wall because I've been asking it to everyone since I've been doing these.
Yeah.
It's simply, what's your favorite food dish?
Well, you know, I have to go by where I just recently spent my birthday, and I had a gig with Emmett Cohen in Mumbai, in India. And we played a
Ooh.
jazz festival there, and we went all the way to India. So my birthday dinner was Indian, and I just love Indian food. So I'd have to say maybe like a nice chicken tikka masala with a garlic naan bread, garlic cheesy naan bread. You dip that in the chicken tikka masala with the nice sweet tomato sauce. Maybe you have like a sag paneer, you know, like a spinach and cheese dish there on the side. You know, some mango juice and some jasmine tea, maybe. You know, I'm going with like a full Indian kind of dinner meal. And you know, it's about 6:30 p.m. here in Philadelphia, where I'm on tour currently, and my mom is in town, so I'm going to go out to dinner with my mom right after this. So you're getting me hungry.
Well, at the very least, your appetite is there, and your mother
That's
is
right.
there as well. So you've got family, friend, and a nice dinner, and a nice gig at what 9 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
little evening, little holiday party, singing Christmas
Yes.
songs.
Ooh. Well, I wish that I was there, but one of these days we'll have you gracing us with your talent in New Brunswick and Moncton or
That would
Fredericton.
be great, man. I would love to do that. I hope so.
I hope so.